Okay, guys, let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear me well. Put in the chat box if you can. Well done. Amazing. Okay, so let's dive in. This is a little bit of a fun webinar. It is very useful for understanding your clients and yourself. And you probably, once you learn this, will start seeing these patterns everywhere, not even just in your clients, but in other people. I mean, just in people in general as well. So this is a very, very fun little exercise we're going to do today. And we'll be here for the next 20 minutes or so. It's not too long, but it's enough, more than enough to give you an understanding of what the 4 types of clients are and how you can use that in your own career or in your own practice. Okay, so let's dive in. And as I talk and as I describe the 4 types of clients, please type in the chat box if you recognize yourselves or yourself in any of these patterns. Here's the thing. Of course, we all tend to have a primary pattern, but I never believe that the personality types, whether that's the Myers-Briggs personality types, or any other sort of personality test, is set in stone. We are here, we're born with a primary set of characteristics, or maybe we develop them over time. I don't want to go into a nature versus nurture discussion, or genetics versus environment discussion. I do believe the environment shapes us initially. However, as we go through life, other factors come into play, and also our own consciousness, our own self-awareness allows us to change, and therefore we take on different characteristics. However, we do tend to have a primary type, and I believe this is what any personality test leans into. Having said that, we may have been groomed by parents who were the opposing type, so we may develop a personality type which is actually quite the opposite, sometimes even a clashing one, and you'll see which ones are the clashing ones in a little bit. But therefore, we may even experience some conflict in our own personality. Maybe we also had to tone things down because they weren't approved of, or we just encountered someone, maybe a caregiver, a parent, or just someone, a prominent figure in our lives, who we thought, I don't want this energy, and therefore I'm not going to have any of it in my life. And so we develop something which is opposite of that. However, in the long run, it serves us to take the best out of all of these energies because they all have something good. Just like every person has something great about them, and of course, characteristics and traits that they work on and they're not particularly happy with. So do all of these personality traits or the types of clients. They have good and not so great about them. All right, so after this intro, let's dive in. What are the 4 types of clients that you will encounter? So the first one is the know-it-all. So the know-it-all is the person who knows it all, the person who thinks they're the best, who loves coming first. They're motivated by challenge. They're very competitive, typically very competitive. They might be competitive with themselves or with other people. They might not even be aware of it sometimes, but they subconsciously or consciously, they're always looking for the best. So they're the person who tends to challenge you on how much experience you've got, and kind of they look at you and they think, is this the best person for me? That's, if there was one word that belongs to this type of personality, that's the best. So they're looking for the best. Now, if you are familiar with the Marisa Peer's 4 types of for the 4 roles we play, this may remind you a little bit of the child that knows, that did everything right. So the exceptional, the brilliant one, she calls it. So the brilliant child very often turns into this type of personality, or one would say that the brilliant child is born with a characteristic that allows him to be brilliant, and then that develops into the being the best, knowing it all. So again, I won't go into a discussion whether that's an acquired trait or something we're born with. I believe it's a little bit of both. So there is something we potentially are born with and that later gets developed. I say that based on my own personal experience with people and with my own life and what I've observed through life. So yeah, the know-it-all is the person who's looking for the best, knows it all, hates being wrong, and basically wants to always come first. And that's what they expect as well when they look for you or at you as a potential person who can serve them. So the next one is the carer. The carer is what a lot of you guys are: soft, gentle, caring. The downside of the carer is that they look after everybody else but themselves. So these people, the carers, probably people like you, they care so much that they look after everybody. They give so much, they're in the giving mode, and they forget to get. So there's a disbalance between the giving and the receiving. Next is a perfectionist. The perfectionist is someone who likes to be perfect, who likes to have things in order and or their time arranged perfectly. They will research the hell out of you before they even come to discovery call with you. They want to know about your experience, qualifications. They want to understand how long you've been in business again, but mostly what qualifications you have. And then they go to the next person, ask the same questions. The perfectionist, the downside is they get stuck in research. So you need to break that pattern with them because they will over research, overthink everything, and they won't be able to make a decision. Finally is our cheerful and fun butterfly. The butterfly likes to have fun, easygoing, likes to be probably dance and be entertained and go to the beach and all the wonderful things that life gives. And that is amazing. They have a light heart, wonderful energy. They're good with people. They make people smile and laugh and just generally feel good. And that is amazing. What the butterfly can use though is some structure. They hate commitment. And so when you get off that call, they will probably forget to follow up. If they promise they'll book a call with you, so before your discovery call, they may forget to do that. And you may be, especially if you're a perfectionist who clashes very much with the butterfly, you will wonder what on earth is going on here. They probably changed their mind. They don't like me. Nope, the butterfly just forgot because something else became more important in that moment. So the butterfly hates commitment. They hate being trapped in without options in a one single situation. So they need a little bit of structure, but they hate commitment. So if you push them too much, they'll probably run away. On the other hand, if you forget to follow up, they will probably forget to follow up with you. All right. So what do you do with all these types? What do you do with all these wonderful types, all of which are great in their own right, but they have some things they could work on. Here's a trick, and here's where it gets really interesting, guys. So please, by the way, let me know if this is all making sense so far. Just let me know. I rely on your feedback to understand whether this is all making sense. And yeah, and if you're enjoying it so far. Okay, so as you saw in the previous slide, well, first we had the know-it-all. The know-it-all is the person who knows everything, who hates to be wrong, and they thrive on challenge. Now, that person clashes with the opposing energy of love and care from the carer. However, when they have some of that energy, they become the hero. They become their good self. They thrive on the advantages they have and on the challenge. That challenge is then used for a good cause with a little bit of love from the carer. Reversely, the lover, the carer, needs a little bit of strength from the hero. And once they have that, they become that lover, as they call it, the loving person, and they are strong in their love and care, so they can look after themselves as well as after others. They're that pillar, that absolute pillar for everybody else, because they're not only giving, but they're also strong. So what do you do when you see someone who is, let's say, in this caring energy, but they give too much? You become a role model for them, and you give them that strength. You show them that you've been where they are right now, and that you understand them, and that they can equally overcome the challenges that they're facing right now. The perfectionist we have here and the butterfly are also opposing energies. You see, imagine someone who's organized. They can't stand the randomness, the lack of commitment in the butterfly. Conversely, the butterfly does not like to be pushed into, to be fit into a box, to be put into a round hole because they're a square peg. Okay, but once the perfectionist gets a little bit of that fun and lighthearted energy, they become wise, they become sage, because they know to take themselves a little bit less seriously. So they still have that wisdom, that structure, organizedness. However, they also know, they trust in a higher source. They know everything happens in the right time. Things happen for a reason. So they become that wise person. And you can become that person for the perfectionist. You give them that sort of that lightness, that belief that they can let things flow sometimes, and things will still end up being perfect. The butterfly becomes the jester, that light-hearted person, and we also call it the artist, because when they have a little bit of structure, so that client, what they need from you is structure. If they're self-aware enough, they know they need structure. They need that from you. They will even tell you, if they're self-aware of what their strengths and weaknesses are, they will tell you that they need structure. Okay, so even if they don't, you're there to gently, while keeping maintaining their freedom, allowing for their freedom, because that is their primary value. You give them structure, and they will love you for it, because then when the butterfly is given structure, they thrive and they become the artist. Then they can sparkle, and then they can really exhibit their creativity and thrive on it. Okay, so let's see a little bit more detail of the 4 types of clients. So again, we have the know-it-all, or loves being right, hates being wrong. The stress pattern is controlling others, and what they need is love. So you can give them that love. You can be gentle with them. When they challenge you, don't disagree, don't get defensive, which is our first reaction, and that's understandable. Give them some love. Say, I understand that you're looking for someone who is the best person for you. And I can reassure you that I've had multiple clients with this specific issue, that my colleagues say that I'm one of the best, if not the best person in this area. And as you can see here, show them your credentials, etc., etc. Put them at ease with love. Okay, and that is when they'll come around. The perfectionist, they love structure, they hate lack of planning, so make sure to show up on time. Their stress pattern is to overthink and overcalculate things, and they need a little bit of fun from you. So show up as a light-hearted person for them. Reversely, the butterfly, they love fun, hate commitment, and they get distracted when they're under stress. They always get distracted, and they need structure from you. So you are there to give them that structure. Don't be mad if they show up 15 minutes late, but make sure you give them that structure the next time, and that you will be there to be that structured person for them, that container for their creativity. And finally, the carer loves helping people, hates conflict, and their stress pattern is to please others. So what you have to do is to be that strength, that pillar of strength, so they can become that. And once they start healing with your approach, or maybe you start coaching them, they get that strength inside them they need for themselves and others. So again, the carer and the butterfly, they're driven by their heart. They always come from their heart. And the know-it-all and the perfectionist by their intellect. That's not to say the carrot and the butterfly are intelligent. It just means that they're driven by their heart. The know-it-all and the perfectionist are driven by they tend to live in their head. And also the carrot and know-it-all are about people. The difference is the carrot, pleasing people, controlled by people. The know-it-all tends to control others. And then the butterfly and perfectionist are about things and time, and the butterfly is again driven by things, so they get distracted because this is fun and that is fun and everything is fun, and oh, there's so many things to do, and yeah, so they get distracted, controlled by things in time, whereas the perfectionist loves to control things. So this is just a little bit of other insights into the 4 types of clients that I wanted to give you. You can see those things in the way they dress. The perfectionist is more kind of organized in the way they dress. The handshake is more kind of controlled, whereas the care is more soft and gentle. They speak more softly. And the know-it-all is kind of firm and hero warriorish, and the butterfly is just fun and smiley and giggly a lot of the time. So I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. If you have questions, let me know. If you have feedback, let me know. If there's something else you want to hear on this topic, please do let me know. There's other material I am happy to send you. And there's a test as well that I'm in the process of preparing, which is going to be launched actually this month. And if you're willing to try it out, if you want to try it out for your clients or for yourself, then please do let me know, and I'll be happy to share that with you. Thank you and blessings for your day. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. And by the way, if you haven't attended my other seminars, I have a 12-week program in which we dig very deep in not just the 4 types of clients, but also into marketing training, individual sessions to eliminate blocks to success based on my premise that it all starts with mindset. It all starts with you. We also have group sessions to let go of the 5 types of fears. We have group coaching sessions so you can exchange experience with each other, private Facebook group, more workshops to come. I also have individual workshops. And here's the thing, within this program, although this is a 12-week program, I can fit your individual needs. So if you want to do things faster than 12 weeks, if you want to speed up, if there's anything here such as the group coaching that you don't want, then I'm flexible to to customize this program. So even if you think this isn't exactly for me, I'm happy to customize it. And because you are here, I'm now offering this program for just 2,500 instead of the usual 4,000 or 3,997 pounds. So if that's something you're interested in, please send me a message and let's have a conversation.